just as we kind of expected, the way OG's been approaching their games. Heavy team fight, group up, death ball kind of strategy. These 2 picks indicate that intensely right away.
Might we see Rubik here, do you think, from Finem, or does that work, Shadow Demon and Rubik?
I think it's a little bit redundant kind of in a way, and I think that they still might be able to, but I don't think that they're going to do it first 2. So Clockwork picked up, very good at isolating the Luna. We saw S4's performance earlier against Arteezy's Luna. He pretty much just ran at him the entire game and made it really difficult for him. It also puts a lot of pressure in the laning phase on the supports to stay in the lane. That's just the kind of way the Clockwork works.
Who was playing it for Finem when he ran against Zhao 8's Enigma? And
that was MNT.
That was MNT. Yeah. Just went in, they just said, you just go in the jungle and just mess with him, and that's what he did.
Yeah, Clockwork's a hero that we've been mentioning like multiple times. Like when you're playing with very farm-heavy cores, he's a hero that doesn't really require much farm, and he forces the supports to stay in the enemy lane. So they already know, like, we have to, we're going to keep the Warlock, we're going to keep somebody else just down there. Maybe try to prevent Jerix's roaming, which we haven't seen them excel at. That's pretty much when OG plays the best, is when Jerix is able to run around and make stuff happen on the map.
Okay, so we know that OG is going in for the push and going in for the team fight. They've got 2 heroes that are really that are strong in lane, and that have that team fight combination going. So what is that Finem going to do? Because they don't have any, okay, Clockwork is a little bit a team fight, but not as much as them. So what hero do you look forward to seeing from them to kind of make up for that?
They like to do this draft style there where they don't give too much away early on. We see that quite often. If they pick first, they often take Rubik if they can, and they just try and sort of say, oh, well, we'll leave it up to you guys. You guys pick, and then we'll show you what we're picking late. I mean, like the late Enigma pick and stuff, they don't mind that at all.
Interestingly enough, OG's bans are quite genuinely the 3 most played heroes for the Greek squad.
They've literally Dota
like
them. That's
60, seriously, 66 matches on IO, 62 on Darkseer, and 50 on Batrider. Those are the 3 in that order.
Finem actually removed the Nyx Assassin themselves. Does that mean that we're going to see Skylark Clockwork? Because otherwise we will be running out of options here.
We'll see.
It's definitely possible.
Yeah.
I think it's more than likely going to be a Clockwork core, not a support in this game. But we'll see how they decide to go for that. OG banning out the sniper too. We've been seeing Finem just pick snipers a lot, not even really needing it to be in like a specific matchup versus an OD. Just Thug's been really preferring the hero, and it's a lane dominator.
But Finem taking away Nyx.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, we're complimenting their prowess on it.
Yeah, with Skylark already probably set for that clock, they just don't want to play against it as well, which is fair enough. S4 can play a mean Nyx Assassin as well, so let's see what they got in store for each other. We have got one more ban coming out for Finem. Is there any support that you want to remove? We already know like Fly is normally the one playing the Warlock. With Jerix, maybe a little bit more of an aggressive support.
Yeah.
That Slardar is still in the pool, and it is so scary on OG.
Yeah, agreed.
Usually the Slardar is paired with the Darkseer, but yeah, they've had pretty good success with it. I think the Ogre Magi is probably the more obvious one that Jerix has been playing just to like run around, and obviously amplifies the Luna with Bloodlust at all times. You can even Bloodlust the Golem too, but you don't really see that
yes,
too much.
it is better. I actually saw that. Yes, that looks a lot more like Sumail's hair. Well done.
Congratulations.
They corrected it.
They corrected it indeed. What do you think they're thinking about here? The Ogre Magi ban? If it's the Slardar.
They did the Slardar. Good call.
Very good call, Sheeps.
Well, it wasn't that obvious apparently. Finem took that long of a time to think about that. Yeah. Indeed.
Yeah, they got plenty of time.
Yeah, they can use some of OG's time perhaps if they take the time to think about what they're going for next.
I think it's a good ban, like we mentioned. Finem wants to do scrappy fights, scrappy engagement. Slardar is like the king of scrappy engagement, scrappy fights with such low cooldown on his stun, as well as amplified damage in the team fights to enhance your Luna.
If we've got 2 strong laners already, would you be surprised to see perhaps something like a Chen or even an Enigma coming out of this for OG?
I haven't really seen them go for anything along those lines, so I wouldn't really expect it. But it is an enabler for like 5-manning, so it's maybe a possibility. It's not likely based off their recent trends.
Okay, what needs to happen for Finem to go for the Enigma? Because we saw that earlier.
I think that was just an incredible Enigma game. Like that last pickup was like outstanding. So, okay, OD is a hero that we saw versus the Clockwork before from EG playing the Clockwork, and we saw this OD just kind of standing in the front line. Even if he got hooked, he can just astral himself, buy time for his team to get there before it ends. And yeah, it's just a really good pickup as well versus Shadow Team to clear the illusions. Finem, the only team pretty much to ever pick the puck.
He's back.
Love this hero. very good at team fighting, very good at being able to deal with that group up measure that OG does like to do. So if they are in a position during that, and he's able to get into the back lines on top of the Warlock to like mess up the initiations.
Yeah, good at
Skylark
surprising the crap out of people too. Puck and Clock.
And as we've also mentioned multiple times, just to reiterate for like people who didn't get to watch too much, like these Lunas and these ODs, they don't build BKB. They wait till like 40 minutes, super late game to build this. Puck is pure magic damage. We also see Thug always go for this Dagon build. He even has Soul Catcher on top of it to be able to just burst heroes down. So it's a very interesting pickup for Finem and something that they do like to run.
And it doesn't need a Thug Puck yet.
Yeah. Just while we're on the topic of Puck, let's not forget, they got Xiao 8's team, LFY, to ban Puck.
Yeah.
And I see your face. I'll let you jump in, Ted.
Puck, we've got Earth Spirit. This is already setting up to be one heck of a game, Alex.
Yeah, Earth Spirit, more, I mean, look at OG's lineup. It's pretty much what we discussed the entire time before the draft even started. Team fight, team fight, team fight. Run at you as soon as they hit level 6. Take buildings, force objectives. Finem, though, reacting with the Drow Ranger. Very good versus the OD because of the silence. You can always prevent him from using Arcane Orb in scrappy fights. And Lane Dominator. This also enables your Puck to do better in the matchup versus mid. Helps pretty much everything that they need inside that laning phase.
Okay, so last picks. What are the teams lacking right now? Because we already got our mid matchup set.
Stuns are light on both teams.
On both teams, yeah.
You've only got Warlock Ult, Lucent Beam, Earth Spirit, I guess, but it's not like the reliable click hero stun like, well, gosh, Weaver, okay. So they're going for the
Support.
Weaver and,
This
but
is
yeah, that
support
might
Weaver.
be the Lil style. The
This might be the
lethal,
support
as
Weaver.
Slacks calls it, but yeah, that is an interesting one. Or is it going to be an off-lane Weaver and support Clock with Shadow Demon? Like we've seen, they like to have a roaming support. I wonder if they'll do something like that with Clockwork, maybe.
I think it's still open, but I think I think MNT likes to play those type of heroes that scale. We saw his Mirana scale intensely yesterday, so I think we might see the support Weaver for Finem. Yeah, it looks cool too. It scales, gives him more scaling potential as well, and it gives them that type more Roche potential with the Drow Ranger and with the bugs.
But would it be played in the same way? Would it get as big as Lil and his Weaver?
I think so. I mean, they usually prefer giving MNT a lot of farm, except for when Spartan's playing the Enigma, obviously.
I mean, all you've got to do is just be on the map with Drow.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. That's how you get this Weaver to be this dangerous thing. Is you just like, oh, there's Drow on the map. So.
And hope that nobody stays is close to you.
Yeah.
That's it.
They get Drow Weaver.
So what's the S4 hero?
S4 hero, one more left.
We've seen some crazy stuff from S4.
They banned Nature's Prophet, by the way, OG.
Yeah, they were expecting that Clock to be support.
Yeah, I was not expecting Nature's Prophet, but obviously maybe they...
I mean, if you read Dota buff, Skylark has played an awful lot of Nature's Prophet.
Do you think that's it?
I hope
he's just
Is that
Dota
seriously
buff?
what OG have done?
I hope that's not the case, but he used to play a lot of Nature's Prophet.
Teams do use that kind of stuff
of
to
course,
go
yeah.
and look, because, I mean, you know, what else can you really do?
Well, or perhaps they scrambled, like, wait, who are we playing in the grand finals against?
who?
Who were these
OG's
guys?
lacking time.
Oh,
Okay.
Legion Commander.
More illusion clear. It's able to remove the silences off of the OD as well if he does. And like we mentioned, they don't like to get BKBs, so if he's able to do that, it's cool. And they can put a lot of pressure on the safe lane. And it's very good versus the Drow Ranger just to get on top of him. You know, you always want to be able to cancel the precision aura for him. So Earth Spirit and Legion Commander are very good at being able to do that. And heavy team fight, and this gives them a little bit of a pick-off potential with that. So
Okay.
cool draft.
A good draft to start the grand finals,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
All right.
Both of them are very strong. So
Let's do this. It is my great pleasure to start things off for the grand final of the Boston Major. The voices behind this grand final, there's an OD in game and there's an OD at the desk, and he's joined by a magical presence. It's Merlini.
Thank you very much, Alex. Indeed, we're here ready for the grand finals of the Boston Major. Best of 5 at Finem going up against OG. I'm hyped, Ben's hyped. As you can see behind me, the crowd as well is going pretty insane. What a matchup we've got on our hands, Ben. At Finem, a team that's just rose up incredibly quickly recently. 2 years ago, I remember casting Spartan and Madara at a UK LAN. They came over, they decimated UK Dota. Now they're here on the verge of decimating international Dota, up against OG in this matchup. What's going to happen, Ben? Talk to me about Ad Finem. What is it about them that's allowed them to get this far and be at this point where they could be OG, 2-time winners of the majors?
And look at Madara. Let's play some good goats. And as you mentioned before, the Alp Naga probably making a lot of people happy. I think something special about Ad Finem is that they have a lot of unique drafts. This one is no different. This Drow puck combination is actually something that OG used quite often. And of course, we see the support weaver from maybe next time.
And we drop the ward down here at Finem. Both sides getting the vision, but immediately dewarded by OG. OG themselves, not really with a good sort of initiation there from the high ground, so they're just holding off. Thug thinking about scouting it out again, has the orb up in a second, but both teams grouped up. Being very, very careful about who makes the jump. Oh, MNT kind of dropping down the Blightstone there, saying, come at me, bro. And it looks like nothing is going to come out of this for now. Unless Spartan can get a disruption, but both teams just respecting each other by the looks of it. And we'll head down to respective sides to pick up the bounty reads.
Yeah, Drow Aura is strong at level 1, but Lunar Blessing is even stronger, especially when they have that high ground positioning. And it looks like No-Tail may be positioning in the off lane up with Fly. So that'll be a little bit different. And it will be Skylark on the Clockwork and maybe next time on the Weaver. Support Clockwork might have not been the best this game just because there's no jungler for them to really deal with. It might be very hard for him to actually get kills and get experience. So having him as an offlaner, much more reliable in terms of getting his level 6.
I mean, because of this lane pairing, the way that they have gone about it, OG, how is this laning stage going to go? Obviously, Finem had that Drow Aura advantage, but do OG have the heroes to have the potential to come out on top in these early stages?
I think the Puck's actually a pretty decent matchup against the OD. Like, he can't really orb you down because you have Phase Shift, and of course, with the Drow Aura, he does actually have more base damage than the OD in this early phase.
On top lane, Skylark taking a bit of a beating there from No-Tail and Fly, bringing him down to half health or so, and even more, in fact, with his Shadow Word. Skylark having to be careful, hanging back. So No-Tail certainly getting the space thanks to Fly for that CS to happen. Meanwhile, down bottom, Spartan, he's found S4 with the disruption. And once he comes across with the bugs, they're going to be able to force S4 back underneath the tower and make sure that this lane is as hard as they can make it for the Legion Commander, safe lane on his own.
That's a very hard lane to kill. I think they need to address the Luna at some point. The Luna and the Warlock do have that pull open to them. This was probably an unexpected lane by Finem, so they're not going to be able to ward out that pull. And now Fly's able to perhaps get level 2 and onwards very easily.
Yeah, Jarrett's trying to just make the side pull, Spartan trying to interrupt it. And at the moment, CS-wise, the mid lane 7 for 3 against the 7 for 1. Very close between Thug and Anna. And both safe lane cores getting similar amounts, 9 for 2. And the safe lane for the Drought. Finem mid lane. Anna keeping the harassment up onto Thug, but as expected, as you said, with that aura and the fact that Puck handling relatively well against the OD, seems to be going alright here for Thug.
And he has that high ground ward. It's definitely not to be underestimated. And Thug does have a salve, so he is a salve up on Ana. Ana should be able to get his bottle, I think, in this creep wave, which shouldn't be that big of a deal for him. He does orb out. Jerax is coming in from behind.
Now this is going to be the Puck without his escape mechanism. Roll forward, but he's got the phase shift to dodge the slow. They'll come in with a boulder smash, Thug. Is he going to be alright? Looks like he will. Nice little phase shift there. Dodging the initiation of Jerax. And even without that orb, Thug remaining alive and had that salve ready to go. So back to full health. Jerax is going to continue to hang around though. And try and get a bit more space for Anna to catch up. And maybe try and get ahead in CS in this mid lane.
Yeah, this Luna is still free farming in that top lane though. I'd be very concerned if I were at Finem. And Skylark is out of HP regeneration in that top lane. He's getting bullied out by Fly and No-Tail. He could potentially die over here.
Yeah, with this Shadow Word and Lucer being Skylark, he's going to drop incredibly low. He's starting to come back in with a battery assault. Cogs down, but it doesn't matter. First blood there for OG. Fly will take the kill. No-Tail gets himself back to safety. At the same time, mid lane, Anna for a bit of a setup onto Thug. Jerax trying to come in, waits out the phase shift in the orb, but it's proving to be a little too hard for the Earth Spirit to have the control to bring down this Puck. Now, first blood for OG in that top lane, and as you said, certainly the lane where Finem are suffering the most. I mean, would you expect to see some sort of a rotation from some of the supports down bottom to go and help the clock?
Yeah, I think the Weaver can rotate up there. They only have one Sentry Ward on the Warlock. It wouldn't be that difficult for him to zone out. Maybe next time already moving about. The Shadow Demon had already blown his TP score in the mid lane, so it would have been quite the trek for him to go.
And Jerax moving rather far out on this mid lane. It really is a question of whether MNT can offer that much. He's level 2. There's the bugs.
They need him to use Astral before they can make a move. And there is a DD on Ana, so he might be playing very aggressively. This might be the word go.
And there's the Astral. MNT starting to shift forward a little bit. He's now going to move forward. But again, just ducks back out. TP across from Fly just to make sure that no ganks will be incoming onto Anna. Look at the D-ward as well. So OG reclaiming good control of this mid lane after already establishing a very strong top lane for No-Tail.
Yeah, so I think bottom lane is kind of a wash. Like LC is still getting good amounts of experience despite them not being able to get a kill on him. And top lane, they're already reinforcing. They know that Warlock had just TP'd mid, and they're walking back up there. Because that's the lane that you want to deal with. A solo Luna in the off lane this early in the game without Eclipse is your prime kill target. But they're wrapping around behind on Thug. Earth Spirit with a 1-1-1 build, he has to be able to get the roll into the silence.
He's got to get the perfect timing here, Jerax. And TP across will be there, goes for the silence first, into the stun, and they'll try and take him down with Spartan. He's there with the disruption Thug. He ults, he face shifts, he's out. The right clicks will do it, though. Ana finishes off Puck in the mid lane. Spartan trying to punish Ana's play, but Ana balls up and was even thinking about turning around him with the DD. He goes for Spartan, but Spartan gets the final touch. And Ana playing a little too aggressively for his own good there. Throws away his life.
He maybe expected some support from Jerax in the river over there, but he wasn't able to bottle up to safety.
Well, whilst that was happening, with all the action down mid, Finem to try and eye up No Tail. No Tail proving to be a little too tanky. He's got a few too many levels under the belt for the two of them to take out unless he's massively out of position. 2 for 1 at the moment. As you said, lane-wise, No Tail's Luna having a great time, but still, the Drow down at the bottom, 32 CS at the moment.
Yeah, I guess by the same token, Drow Rangers are farming up there. And yeah, the Shadow Demon looked like a very easy kill, but it's something very easy to forget that he has Drow Aura. Your supports love that. It's like, yeah, great, I can farm creeps. I can actually right-click some cores.
Absolutely. Every right click counts. Top lane, Jerax trying to make the initiation onto Skylar. Drop down the cogs, has the backup of MNT. So Jerax and No Tail aren't going to go in any deeper.
Spartan scouts out Fly in the river, and he knows that they're coming in. It's about to be 6 minutes. Can Spartan get the top?
Coming in onto Jerax, but he immediately silences Skylar in return. Madara moving down. He's going to gust up Jerax, and Jerax, he's good enough dead. And No Tail, he could be in trouble as well. MNT a little low on the mana though, so can't dive forward. Madara sees if he could get a reach in. No Tail will survive Salva. Meanwhile, back towards the mid lane. Thug takes down Ana with the help of Spartan. And some sweet plays there from Finem and bringing them ahead in the lead in terms of kills now. 3 for 2. And already proving to be a very, very close early game here between these two sides, 6.5 minutes in.
I wonder how the Legion Commander is going to itemize. Like, Blink is... It's sometimes difficult to pull off just because of the cast point of Duel, like versus a very easy to escape hero like the Puck. Sometimes Shadowblade is a...
Top lane Madara kind of caught out here. No Tail not messing around, goes straight in with the Eclipse and takes him out. A little too far away from any sort of creep wave or backup. And that will do the job. No Tail is sitting at the top of the net worth at the moment, as we can see, but it's very close between these 4 cores. Not much in it at all.
It's been a big game of chicken in the top lane. They don't want to leave their like exposed core. I would say like Luna and Drow are still very weak at this point in the game, and they constantly have to rotate supports in and supports out. And if there isn't a support there, the other team will just sweep in and get that huge kill.
In the mid lane, Astral has been used, and that is going to be a bit of the opening for Thug to try and make a go. Goes for the old jukes out the smash there with the face shift, jumps across to Ana. He's got 2 stacks of poison. The silence as well, bringing the OD low. Ana, he should pop to this, and he will. They'll get the kill on the OD. They'll now look towards Jerax, and they've got the setup as well. Spartan with the disruption. They'll take down the second at Finem. With a beautiful duo of plays there.
This early game from the OD has just been a disaster after giving up that 1 kill to the Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon was level 5 at that point with level 3 Soul Catcher. 40% more damage on a generally tanky hero like an OD. Those raindrops aren't going to save you.
And Spartan making big things happen. With those plays on the verge of hitting 6, Demonic Purge is going to be thrown into the mix next time around those gangs come through. We'll see that replay again, and some really nice coordination. And again, it's just Finem seeing that opening anytime Ana uses the Astral aggressively.
Yeah, he's like, why am I taking so much damage? He waited out the Dream Coil, didn't want to get stunned by it, and Jerax wasn't able to connect on his boulder, and it will be an easy 2 for 0 for them.
And the disruption not only just setting up, but also making sure that Fly couldn't get the Shadow Word heal onto Jerax. And Spartan, a relatively calm Spartan as well, but understandably so, it's early days.
He looks very intense, though.
Intense, but he's not smashing anything up yet. But still, I mean, at this stage of the game, I guess there's certainly both teams have positives to take away from this early beginnings, but Finem certainly making the plays happen, and they're not stopping yet.
Oh,
mid lane Skylark with the hook shot immediately coming in onto Fly, and indeed 7 experience away from the 6 there. So no chance for Fly to offer anything in sorts of a turnaround, and in fact S4 comes forward. $1 Million Dream Coil kind of hitting him back as he's been caught out. with the timing, gets the smash and the silence out. So despite Spartan's best efforts, Thug will not be saved.
Maybe next time, hovering around, maybe trying to get a kill on S4, but he will take the long way around to the left side as they avoid the Weaver. Very nice defensive disruption. 2 ultimates for that. The Puck thought he could get the silence off, but it is only level 1 silence, and the duel came out just in time. Have to respect the LC. If LC gets a duel on Puck, it's going to be a tough team fight for Advenum because that's most of their AoE control in the fight.
Yeah, I'm going to have to be a little bit careful up on the stop lane now. Fly, he's come up here, he's got the backup of both Ana and S4 in the neighborhood.
They want to use the rock.
He does have the rock, yeah. So Advenum, they'll surely be aware of this. They'll see that Fly is level 6. S4 starting to come across, but it's all warded out. Full vision of this area. Spartan immediately just holding him back. Mass TP's now coming through from Advenum. They want to try and fight this demonic purge. Drop straight down onto S4. He tries to purge it off, but that ain't going to happen, son. With the press the attack, he's out. Fly now in a bit of a sticky situation. Ana will try and save him for the time being with the Astral, but he's surrounded by Advenum. They'll take down the Warlock. Ana's trying to TP out. In fact, he stops. He looks towards them. He's trying to turn it around with the help of Notel and Jarex, though. Falling low. Silence, though. Jarex should be able to find the puck, and he will. But at the same time, it's 2 for 1 at the moment. Ana's falling incredibly low. Heads down towards the south on the retreat. OG starting to turn this one around potentially. MNT still about. Notel and Jarex a little too high for them to finish off. Lucid beam down onto Spartan, but no more further chase down there from OG. So they may have lost 2, but they do manage to take down Thug in return.
And they would have loved to have that Eclipse there for that fight. The Puck was huddling towards the top side of the cliff, hoping for a defensive disruption from the Shadow Demon while he was silenced, but they were unable to get that off. And OG did not commit rock to that fight, so they can perhaps take another fight on that top side of the map. But these skirmishes are not going their way. And OD is very far behind in net worth. It's okay if the Puck's kind of held around that 3,000 area because he's not really meaning to scale. As long as the Drow gets farmed, he gets right-click damage in the meantime. And he's going to have his Veil soon.
Absolutely, the Veil going to benefit multiple heroes on his side. Spartan's going to be very happy when that comes online as well. Extra damage out from the Shadow Demon. And the comparison at the moment. Kill participation, better for Thug. And indeed, the hero damage nearly double coming out from this Puck. And it's obviously going to go even higher with that Veil being picked up round the corner. And OG trying for a smoke. They really want to make something happen here with the Chaotic offering. And the Eclipse back online. S4's got the duel. If they find a target, they'll almost certainly find a kill.
Puck's not the target that they can go on. Legion Commander, no Blink Dagger. There's no way to stop him from just orbiting, phasing.
He's got the Invis rune now.
Oh, that's a big one. That's actually, I think, the best rune for the LC right now.
As we can see, though, Finem sort of fortunate here in their movements. They're actually looking down towards the bottom. They know that Ana's alone. Ana's going to try for the TP out, but there's the vision. And Skylark just casually walks in, has the battery assault. And I don't think there's any escape here for this OG. There's no TPs coming through. OG just letting Ana die here in this situation. There's no way they can save him.
Is that worth losing a T1 tower in their mid, though, OG?
They might not even lose it. Finem already over, maybe looking for the defense. They have the Dream Core. They have all ultimates available. And Skylark with that play as well down bottom. He was very cool about it. Didn't blow out a hook shot. He's still got that ready for this mid lane fight. Can he find the lead in?
Oh, he was so close to getting coiled under the tower. That would have been disastrous. Fly in a very good position to drop a rock. He's just a little bit to the north, hiding behind No Tail.
Be careful how much they group up. The tower getting low, and Thug gets the deny. In the back lane, lines of it all, the MNT has kind of taken the attention away from OG as they were drawn towards him. But Finem, not only just getting that OD kill down on the bottom, and also getting the courier, denying the tier 1. They're getting a nice little bit of a momentum here. OG potentially being slightly thrown off their game in these early stages.
Yeah, if they scout it out maybe next time, they have to be especially careful of Roshan potentially coming out very soon. Weaver has a double minus armor build, Medallion of Courage, and Blightstone. He's been a little bit quiet this game, but that will allow them to set up on Roshan. You don't want to take the fight when Rock and Eclipse are up, at least not if they're not pushing the top tower, but that is kind of, I think, what they're eyeing next. Getting, I don't even know who you put on, Drow, Ranger, or Puck, but either of them are both pretty good at this point. Offensive smoke coming out from Finem.
See if they can catch out. OG have started to split back up a little bit around the map. I mean, they've obviously tried for 2 attempts with these big ultimates to make something happen, and they just haven't found the window. This is leaving No-Tail farming on his own down bottom.
He doesn't want to shoot a rocket. If he shoots a rocket, he reveals his positioning, but at the same time, he does want to hook this Luna.
Might find him anyway. No-Tail just outside of the night vision at the moment. Skylark won't spot him out. And with that rocket, they will. Already S4 and Jarek's being coiled up. But again, Finem holding back, not wanting to initiate a round here. So close to the tier 1. They know that there's going to be backup, and they know that OG still have these huge team fight ultimates at their disposal.
Yeah, that would have been like a 3-man Fatal Bonds had they ran up there. And maybe next time feels very safe with that sentry ward in the mid lane, but still trying to draw out the rock as long as possible. Still 15 minutes in, have not seen one use of it.
This has to be frustrating for OG. I mean, as we see that the team fights aren't working out, is it just a case of waiting for certain items? You know, S4 working towards that potential blink dagger. Is there something that could allow them to change their fortune here in trying to make fights happen rather than just running down a lane?
The blink dagger on S4 is probably the biggest one, but on top of that, OD just needs any sort of item on him. Like, he is just dirt poor. He was neck and neck with the Puck, but now Puck's pulled ahead by a good 1,000 gold. Like, OD needs items. Force Staff, Veil, anything, really. Midas, perhaps.
In fact, Finem looking towards Roshan. They've got very good warding around the Radiant Jungle entrance to it all. So Finem are going to feel confident going in for the kill here. It's already falling down to half with the Drow and the Medallion from MNT. They're taking it down at an incredible pace. And it doesn't look like there's going to be any chance that OG can stop it. They'll send a creep across, but it's already too late. Roche is down, and Madara has the Aegis in his hands.
I really like the build from MNT for that, though. The double minus armor from the Medallion Blight and adding value from the Swarm. It just makes Roshan that much easier. And I think they chose to do it as soon as the Drow Ranger hit level 11, knowing that with that amount of agility, the timing that OG have to hit, especially with that T1 tower, is just minimal.
OG desperately trying to make some sort of action happen here, going their way. Jarek smoked up, eyes onto Thug up top. But again, it's such a hard kill to get if he doesn't hit that combo, and he needs the follow-up damage. Anna does have a DD under his hands at the moment.
Ooh, they smoked. I don't think it was in Observer Ward range. They were hiding behind those two trees.
Ooh, and S4 is, of course, in the jungle, just trying to finish off.
Yeah, he's at 2,000 gold.
That blink, it would be very painful if they lose his life at this stage of the game, but it looks like Skylark and Spartan have their sights set towards the mid lane. No tail there at the moment towards the Ancients. Is going to start farming some of those up. But again, just not quite finding the vision here at Finem, so they'll continue to move her towards the top lane, where Anna has found space and time to take down a tier 1.
They're expecting a smoke from OG, is what they're doing. And that wasn't actually an offensive smoke. They're patrolling around the high ground, waiting for it to pop. But now, LC does have his Blink Dagger. Same time, Puck has his. And Shadow Demon's positioning going to be crucial for the next fight. Earth Spirit, if he can get a silence on the Shadow Demon during the duel, that's also going to be pretty big. And of course, the Rock Drop and the Fatal Bonds, look for that.
Yeah, Matter has just picked up a Shadow Blade as well. So Finem with a multitude of ways to jump into the fights. And they are certainly looking for one now. As they move over to OG's half of the map, looking to take the tier 2 from down on the bottom lane. At the same time, though, OG attempting their best to push out multiple lanes. You've got Anna pressuring up top, a bit of a movement from OG sweeping the jungle of Finem, seeing if they find any stragglers, but the full force of Finem is indeed all down here. So they take a tower themselves, Finem, and OG may be able to find a trade, but at the same time, Finem, they look to potentially move on, and they could be on the verge of forcing OG to back up and fight them. It looks like they actually want to fight them up top. Mass TP's up towards the top lane, but OG have all but backed up, so we aren't going to see the teams butt heads as of yet, as both simply avoid each other. But Finem will take the tower, and OG can't quite finish off the trade.
No tail, perhaps just striking a little bit high and trying to clean out that dire jungle. He does have HOD creep, very useful in just adding his team's damage, as well as potentially blocking a hook shot. I think that's probably one of the biggest plays that you can make with an HOD creep in this game. And pushing high ground into Fatal Bonds, you just don't want to be in a position where multiple people are going to get destroyed by the Fatal Bonds. They can easily pick off the OD with the Shadow Blade right now. And Spartan, he's been a lot more involved. Rock has just constantly been avoided by Finem. When's he going to drop it, Owen?
And that is the question. Coming up to 19 minutes in, and still Fly struggling to find the situation to offer his column to the fight.
They don't have any smokes left on OG. The next one cools down in 1 minute and 40 seconds, but I don't know if they can wait that long before they choose to fight. And us Rocket player scouts out 2 of them. They know where Fly is. I think they might have seen him place a ward too.
Ping's coming through though now into the mid lane. Anna moving across, and has got the sentry ward down. will pick up MNT and start to hammer into him, and in fact jumping in with the duel. S4 will catch the bug out. And that sentry ward certainly paying off there. They get the kill and they also get that tasty bonus damage for S4. Meanwhile up top, fight's not over yet as Jarax hunting for Spartan. The pings will come out, they know he's there, but Spartan's already headed off to the side. Will get silenced up, No-Tail and Jarax surrounding him. Spartan know where he lives out of this one, he will be taken down. So OG not only finding that kill in the mid lane, they get a good kill up top, and that may allow them the momentum to finish off this tier 2 on the top lane.
And not having to expend any big ultimates, that's exactly what OG needs to keep this momentum, keep on pushing with the Luna, keep building up net worth on that Outworld Devour. Puck hasn't really been able to get any pickoffs with his Blink Dagger yet. And nighttime has come, definitely giving OG the edge in this next team fight, unless Puck can get a multiple man Waning Rift.
It's going to be all about Thug's initiations indeed in this team fight, making sure that OG don't have the chance to cast those ultimates. Amanda is starting to work towards finishing off that Hurricane Pipe. MNT, level 9 at this stage, and Anna himself, he has that Dragon Lance out and complete. 20 minutes in, it's been a bit of a troubling start for OG in terms of trying to make the fights happen, but as we've seen with that last bit of play, they're certainly able to find the pickoffs and have Finem caught out of position.
I don't know if they're going to be able to make the use of the Aegis. It just expired, so the net worth actually has swung the way of OGs in the past few minutes. It's almost at par. That one pickoff on maybe next time actually gave them a lot. As Finem were not 5 strong to go up into the next team fight. So Luna.
What is the build here? Is he going for the Axe?
He's going for Axe.
He's going for the Aghanim. I mean, talk to me about this, Ben.
I guess it could also be a Scotty Rush, but the Axe on Luna is actually very, very strong if they don't have BKBs, and I don't really think any of these heroes are going to build BKBs anytime soon. The thing does so much damage. It's risky because your physical damage might not scale as well.
I mean, I guess you've got Anna on the OD to scale up for the late game, right click, and you've also got S4.
Yeah, they can just like dump it on S4. That's almost a guaranteed duel win as long as Shadow Demon doesn't get his ultimate off. It could also be just be a casual one if he feels like he needs more HP and just needs to survive. But it's a very unusual build.
Nice up on the bottom lane here. Anna simply going to Astral Thug and back away. MNT was in the neighborhood as well, but the two members of OG deciding to not take that fight.
S4 walks into Observer Ward range.
They know he's here. Madara closing the gap with the Shadow Blade, but immediately S4 blinks back. Madara jumps forward here with the Hurricane Pike, trying to finish him off. But with the Blade Mail and the Shadow Word, it's going to be enough to save him. The Rock, it will. They keep S4 alive. The question is if OG can find anything in return. The land illusion beam onto Madara. Madara falling over the Dream Core from Thug. Holds back OG, and Madara will be allowed to escape there.
Wow, one hit away. And Clockwork will get dueled up at the end of the day. He did shoot that rocket uphill just so he could get, hopefully, what would have been that last hit on the Legion Commander, but the Shadow Word coming out just in time from the Warlock. That would have been devastating had the Draw Ranger died at this point. But now you can tell that OG's team fight, they're much more comfortable grouping up now.
And they found a bit of a crack, a bit of an opening, and they're ready to abuse it. Forcing down the mid lane, but the Golem still up and healthy. Mid lane, S4, I think I was on MNT, but of course Duel still on cooldown for the 14 seconds. But indeed, so far, this game one, everything we've hoped it to be 9 for 9, 23 minutes in, it can still go both ways. And sneaking back into his own jungle, and in fact, they will spot out the Weaver. Jarax with a bit of a roll forward, maybe hoping to find the connection, but MNT duking it out, and at the moment just taking all the farm here from OG's jungle. And there it is, 23 minutes in. No-Tail with this Aghanim Scepter Luna build in the Grand Finals.
I'm a big fan of the Axe.
You like it?
Yeah,
good timing as well.
Yeah, it's really strong. It complements exactly what they need. They don't really need her to do that much damage physically. I think just being able to drop that Eclipse onto the LC or just in an area is going to be really, really devastating. Like, I don't think they're going to see this coming, too. It's very difficult to itemize against. Like, Pipe against that amount of magic damage, it's not something that you can switch to like right now, 24 minutes into the game. You have to prepare for it. And it also will like alter the way that OG farm a little bit too, because he's not going to be as strong at taking Ancients.
Let's see if they find the opportunity to use it here in this mid lane push.
Yeah, I think you just drop it on S4 as the Rock comes out, and by the time you like phase shift or Shadow Blade, the damage is going to be done.
Trying to make an initiation here, and there we have it. In fact, the Eclipse drop down on the area of the ground, and it pummels through them. You get a beam, and everyone still gets a beam. No-tail knocking down both of them.
They're probably like, what the hell just happened? Right there.
He could be in trouble as well. Will be stunned up. A sentry's dropped as well. Jarex has eyes on him, and he's back up, and he's going to get it in the form of Anna and Fly immediately with the time lapse. But Anna, he gets the Astral, setting him in place. Silence is there as well, and they'll find themselves a third. OG. Incredible ingenuity there.
That perfect positioning by the Eclipse there, right on that area, and Drow Ranger didn't really know what to do. She thought she was like looking for the Lunas. Like where?
I mean, there's no escape. You don't see the area. It's as we saw. You just melt. And BKBs, as you mentioned, the calls on Finem, they're not going to want to build them anytime soon. I mean, potentially, do you feel that Matter is going to be in a situation where he has to think about fitting it into his Drow build, or does he still have to avoid it?
I think you just have to split push at this point. So yeah, he drops this like right on top of where the puck is, and then she gets stunned out by the boulder and just dies in one stun. And then Spartan's trying to fog it up too, but he also just gets blown up. So like the Luna beams appearing twice as fast is no joke. It's very difficult to react to, and of course it'll stop your blink daggers. And the one who kind of can save himself is the puck.
Yeah,
that's
Puck
about
was
it.
very close to dying there.
Yeah, I think you just have to split push at this point though. Their team fight is unrivaled. Even when you get BKBs, it's still risky because they can duel you before you pop your BKB. They can drop the rock and then combo that with Earth Spirit stun. And by that time, you might already be dead from the Eclipse. So taking that risk on the team fights is probably not something that they want to push at this point in the game. Just keep taking down Roshan's, keep avoiding the big Fatal Bonds rock combo, and try and get pickoffs with your Jarminder who has the Shadow Blade.
OG ready to move around as a 5-man again. Will smoke up. No wards from Finem catching it out. We'll see if Finem are prepared.
Spartan's in a perfect place to pop it, and he has the Observer Ward. So,
yeah, this is really smart position. Immediately just TPs out as soon as he senses danger. Skylark as well, walking himself away. Anna tried to jump forward. Will get the Astral. They will manage to get the lock on this. S4 closes the gap. Oh, no! Skylark hookshots away, and the drive-by stun holding S4 back, meaning no duel to hold him in place. Very, very smoothly done there by Skylark, and just overall, as you said, Spartan's positioning, meaning that gank was not going to find a kill. Bottom lane, Jarek's trying to fight him against MNT. Will hold back the Weaver with a stun. Anna is there to back him up with the sentry drop. They should find this kill. MNT trying to keep himself alive at the time. That's trying to get out of range of the sentry as well. He will manage to keep himself safe. Jarek goes for the swing. Oh, and he shoots and he scores. Jarek finds him in the tree line. So they will punish the Weaver, despite MNT's best efforts to get outside of the range of that sentry.
The original Earth Spirit player. Showing off his skills right there. And I think OG are actually probably strong enough to walk inside the Roche Pit and not really fear too much from Finem. If you're fighting from over there, you're not going to have any creeps.
And look at this, Ben. We are going to see the treat here of S4. So, come on.
He gets greedy with the press the attack too.
Yeah.
He presses the attack a little bit, like right as he comes out.
He goes for both. He tries to lay down the Q as well before the duel.
He didn't think there was any way that he was going to escape. But
didn't expect the hook shot. Well, okay, No-Tail, he didn't expect it either. He's trying to turn around and cast the ultimate of sorts. There will be a chaotic offering, buying him time to get out of there. Now No-Tail turns, one loosened beam to the head, and they find the kill. Fly there with the support to allow No-Tail to escape and turn that venture around, and they might not be done yet, OG. Jarek's moving forward, Spartan up behind the tower. He'll actually disrupt himself, but S4 and Jarek's, they're wrapping around. S4 really wants to find some sort of a duel. This time he'll get it. The two of them catching out Spartan. And a nice plus 42 damage now in S4's bag. OG, again, they're just going from kill to kill by this way. They jump forward, they found the lockdown on Madara, they drop down the Eclipse Aghanim's ultimate from No-Tail. And there really is no escape from that spell, Ben.
yeah, I think Finem fans are probably worried about like OG slowing the game down, because that's where Finem kind of tend to make a little bit more mistakes. It's not the sort of game that they're used to. They want more like hectic, just constant brawls, constant skirmishes, constant pushes, and defense. But right now, it's OG just moving around together, and Finem are like kind of moving in there one at a time, trying to pick up a hero or two.
Finem are a hero down. They know there's no chaotic offering, they know there's no Eclipse. They may go for a bit of a play here. Roshan falling low. Hook has the Dream Coil, but the hook shot as well. Lots of forms of initiating. And OG playing fairly timid, in fact. They don't want to finish it off. They know that Finem have the favorable fight around here with the status of the ultimates in mind.
It's so low. It's at like 25%. They
mean,
can't leave it.
They really can't. As soon as that Drow's back online, Madara and the boys will head immediately over to the pit. MNT is going to find No Tail. No vision, of course, on these two cores at the moment, so MNT will be fine, just scouting out the side of OG, giving the information that Finem need. And they'll know that OG, they're out and away from the pit. Deso now picked up by MNT as well, so Finem can make incredibly short work of this. Madara Hurricane Pikes into the pit. Don't jump towards where Jerax is there. He's trying to look for Madara. He kind of jukes him out there on the vision edge of the pit. They've got the ward down. He shadow plays Madara. He gets himself away. The Samus is good. It's not enough to finish him off. S4 does find the Blink Jewel onto the SD. Jerax finishes off Madara. So OG get the 2 kills that are crucial. They'll go back in. Do Finem still want to try and do anything about this? They do have Dream Coil. Hookshot, of course, off on cooldown. Though, will he make an attempt for a big old play? He's going to jump. He goes for the size, but immediately Jerax is there with the reactions, the silence of the beatdown. OG take the kill, take the Aegis, and Jerax, he was ready for that puck play.
Yeah, and they were ready for even that 4-step in by the Drow Ranger. They had an observer ward on the high ground that I don't think Finem expected them to have, and that was a very high-risk place, 4-stepping into there. Like, maybe if you were smoked, it would have been much safer, but OG knew he was inside the pit. They had covered the ground with sentries, and just once you take down a Drow Ranger, most of their damage is gone.
And we're really starting to see OG come into their own now. No Tail leading by a fair margin on the overall net worth in comparison to Madara. And of course, at the start, as we talked about, Anna did struggle a little bit in the early game, but he's pretty much picked up all that he fell behind, and now very much leading in comparison to the farm on Thug's Puck. As the recent fights have just favored OG each and every time, the shot calling just seeming to be a little bit better here in this game 1, as they lead 19-9, 31 minutes in, and have a favorable advantage in terms of money.
They're getting much more use out of their gold too. Like, Luna doesn't have to go for a BKB, neither does the OD, and they can both get covered by the Legion Commander. Legion Commander can stop the silence from the puck. They can just turn around and man up with the press the attack, and at Finem, they're forced to go defensively versus this massive Eclipse Bomb. No-Tail's level 18 right now.
Well, that's 4. Coming very close to being found out there by Finem.
They need to be able to pick off the Luna, or at least get a disruption on her. I think that's also one huge benefit of the Active of this game. If you disrupt a Luna, it's not like she has Manta Style, she doesn't have Butterfly. She's not going to be destroying your own team with the Glaives. It's
all about the ultimate for No Tail, as we've seen, but soon that situation will change with the amount of bank that he has. We'll be able to transition into that more standard kind of build on the Luna, if he wishes to do so. OG coming across towards the mid, they'll force Finem away, and Finem indeed respecting the fact that Chaotic Offering, Eclipse is back online, and these are 2 ultimates that they do not want to tackle head on, especially with No Tail having that Aegis in his hands.
Yeah, I wonder what No Tail's going to go for next, actually. If they want to push high ground, yeah, they do need more right click from him, but he's kind of been itemizing against the Shadow Demon Disruption, so he might continue to do so. Like, I don't think Linken's is the worst choice in the world here. It will continuously prevent the disruption, and they don't actually have that many single target spells to pop it. Or you can just go Manta and or Butterfly, which is the most common. No Tail. Looking at maybe next time hasn't been able to have too much of an impact, just because the supports haven't been alone. They've always been with someone, and the Earth Spirit tries to buy enough time for his teammates. If he goes onto him, the Warlock just drops a rock, and you can't get solo picks as the Weaver this game. And the one time he did try to split push, he got Astraled into a duel, which without a Linken's, you're going to be dead again.
OG now, with their power, they're not looking for split push, they're looking for full-on 5-man push on this side. Thug will go to cut the creep wave, and at the same time does have Madara and Spartan forcing down the top. They'll need to do something about this potentially very soon. OG making this push happen with the Aegis in No Tail's hands, take down the tier 2, and it looks like they may move on for more and try and force Finem back.
So Puckett's gone for a Linken's, probably doesn't want to get dueled. And base racing versus Luna, usually a terrible idea, but because she doesn't have that much right-click damage, it might not be the worst thing for them. They just have to be able to BKB and TP out, which isn't a possibility versus the Warlock or the Legion Commander. And now OD has shown up in the lane. Two heroes are hiding in the trees,
Madara,
and he's looking for them. S4 blinks aggressively.
In fact, he might catch Spartan before the TP is successful. Indeed, he's going to find it, but oh, he can't quite cast it out again. He goes for the W before the straight-up duel. So missing the opportunity to hold back the Shadow Demon.
And Finem looks like they're grouping up for a smoke. The call has been made, especially with the DD on Thug. They are grouped up close to their secret shop. I think it's maybe a good time for them just because a couple of the members TP'd all the way to the left side of the map, but they have to group up around Spartan, maybe wanting to set up some observer wards to make sure that they aren't caught out yet. But now it's too late. OG have already regrouped as 5 as they huddle down the mid, and Luna has gotten a refresher.
Axe Refresher is the build for N0tail this game. He is going all in on it.
Yeah, that's really nasty, and SD does not counter this hero at all with this build.
Madara, he finds Jarex, but immediately with the Ghost of Dash, he's going to drop the Dream Coil down here on this Earth Spirit.
Time to bounce.
Yeah, you're not finding anything there. This Ad Finem indeed will just reset back up. He just has now fallen out.
They need to push out the lanes and or use a precision aura to prevent this push. Like, Luna is incredibly strong. I'm pretty sure she could probably team wipe all 5 of them. And imagine that with Fatal Bonds, that's going to be disgusting.
Goodness, and oh, here we go, Anna. He's just picked up the Hex and using it there to help out S4 get yet another successful dual win. 20-9, it's looking incredibly good for OG, and as you said, I mean, they could go high ground, just drop down 2 ults around the racks, and there's not a lot that Finem can do to try and fight underneath it in terms of defending their buildings.
Thug might get hexed up here. They do need to use the Force Staff to pop the Lincolns.
They'll roll forward, Jarex with the initial control, he's got the silence, he's got the stun, dropping everything down, they'll shove him back, in come the Balls of Fury from Anna.
Too many pickoffs on the side lane. As Finem trying to stall this game out, but they're just giving up way too many kills in the process. N0tail out alone. This could be a big eclipse from them. If they try and engage, they're trying to wrap around from behind.
This is a risky fight for Finem to take S4. Pops the BKB, looks towards Spartan, immediately locking down the Shadow Demon, winning another duel. Now he'll turn towards Madara, chasing down the Drow Ranger who's trying to turn, trying to fight. He will go for the BKB TP out and will indeed get himself away successfully. But again, Ad Finem to lose 2 and unable to fight into the power that is OG at this stage of the game.
Yeah, OG have the perfect mix of team fight and anti-split push to keep this train rolling. And N0tail, I think this is his peak with Ags and a Refresher, or they might as well use it while it's going to be at its strongest. Skylark doing his best to stop it with the power cogs, and maybe next time in the middle lane with a creep skip on the Weaver, but this train is coming.
Here's the push in. Ad Finem 5 seconds, and they will have everyone back up. Quick fortification will force them away, and as you can see, MNT did skip the creep wave in that middle lane, making it just that bit harder for OG to find the opening to go up to the high ground. And indeed, as we can see across the map, that's something that Ad Finem have been able to do, just make sure that no creep wave is close enough to bring down that backdoor protection.
The problem is OG is not under any timer. They still have a lot of room to grow on the OD who was initially poor, and Luna still has, you know, 1, maybe 2 more item slots where she can just get bigger and bigger. And Legion Commander has been able to get a fair amount of pickoffs on the supports, but comparing N0tail and Madara,
just the hero damage as expected, just being doubled here by N0tail. With this item build, it's something that Ad Finem will surely have not expected coming into this matchup.
S4 invised up. Will he be able to get the jump on Madara?
He's sort of alone at the moment. Spartan and MNT around towards the south of him, and they will scan him out so they know that he's there. He does also have Jarex close by, and in fact Jarex running forward. Spartan maybe looks to try and do something here. In fact, he's just got to disrupt himself and hope for the best as S4 winning again. I mean, 110 stolen damage at 38 minutes. Very impressive indeed here from this Legion commander.
Yep, and that has to be the call, to push out the underlanes as quickly as possible. Those 2 heroes are the 2 best ones to pick out the side lane pushers, but you have to stop this 5-man fight from happening.
It's looking very, very scary for Ad Finem. OG rising up to this grand finals and already in game 1 showing us just the power that this team has behind them. With an incredible opening performance. I mean, N0tail is just 507, 330 CS, 20,000 net worth. It's been an impeccable performance from him, and he has that confidence. He can just go up to this tier 3, feeling very, very safe, getting the damage out, and knowing that at this point it's so hard for Adfinem to do anything about it.
They will choose to defend. They do have the HOD creep inside of Roshan, but it is almost a maximum respawn. Madara looking for a gank, but with these Hurricane Pikes on the Radiant side is very, very hard.
Yeah, he's surrounded and yeah, no messing. TP's away. Can't be caught out in this area of the map at this stage of the game. They need that man alive. Jerax with the gem now as well, so more map control will be going the way of OG. I mean, what is the best bet for Adfinem at this stage? Is it a case of waiting for OG to come for this sort of a push, or is it all about the split now for them, so that they just have to avoid OG's team fight?
You have to avoid a team fight. I think the only hope of them winning a team fight is that if they burst down the Luna, but they have defensive Astral, they have press the attack, and they have the Rock to cover her tracks. That is just way too many abilities to even hope that you can burst her down before the fight starts. Alternatively, you could burst down OD, but I don't think that's really a likely possibility either. Like, where's their burst coming from? There's no Dagon on the puck this game, which he's gone for in the past few.
And here comes the push. OG ready to go in full force. They'll get the silence. The Hex now drop down onto a second. They'll find not just a Spartan, Skylark as well. That's 2 out for Adfinem. And OG will be able to make short work here of this mid set of racks, though. Stroking down the veil, nothing more as of yet. No-Tail still has that double ultimate at his disposal. He doesn't even need to use it at this stage. It's just the threat of it that holds Adfinem back and allows OG to get those racks absolutely smashed in the mid lane.
And the way that Adfinem have gotten this far is by keeping it a relatively stable sort of game for them. And I think No-Tail was really the player in this game that changed the state of play with his scepter. It just destroyed that first fight and was just a do not pass sign in any of these team fights.
They know that he's hiding here. They have that ward down. They know he came down the lane. They're hunting from a Jerax. He'll find him. Eclipse drop down into the tree line. No-Tail and Jerax making it happen. Shiva's car picked up by Anna as well.
S4, is he going to get a pickoff over here?
Certainly thinking about it, but 2 of them nearby, knowing that there's potential backup from Spartan on the disrupt. He doesn't go for it. Now he's looking as he moves in. Jerax has the silence onto the puck. Thug gets himself away here with the face. There'll be a buyback from Madara as he realizes that his team desperately need him at this stage. Now looks to be trapped, but he should be able to get himself out, and indeed he does with the blink. But this is getting very close to being the final defense potentially from Adfinem, as OG have just played this game absolutely perfectly. They had a bit of a rocky start at the beginning, but ever since No-Tail's itemization, the Jerax Earth Spirit play, the fact that S4 was able to find just pick-off after pick-off. Ooh, MNT will start down the courier. That was, I believe, the Manta Star recipe from Luna. So No-Tail isn't going to have that, but I don't think that's going to be the biggest of his worries. It's OG with the space to move into the pit. It will be scouted out. Adfinem spam pinging it, but there's no way that they can get over, really. I mean, they've got Skylark in the neighborhood, but no one else is attending. I mean, he could try for something. And he is going to try for it, but he doesn't get it. Fly picks up the Aegis, Skylark loses his life.
Nice try. Valiant attempt.
I mean, you have to go for these plays, I guess, when you're kind of forced back at this stage of the game.
Guess how long ago Adfinem's last kill was?
A couple of series. Well, a series now. I mean, it's really slowed down for them. OG have just not allowed any cracks to show. And now they're moving in for that second set of racks. Buyback from Skylark. MNT will still be down for 35 seconds. Meanwhile, on the top lane, Matter has been caught out by S4, and he's down for 90 seconds. Jumping from Anna with the Hex onto the wall. Sanity's Eclipses out, and they just tap it out. It's all too much for Adfinem here in game 1. They've had some great wins recently over the last couple of days, but now meeting up against OG, this first match proving to be very, very easy for the side of OG. Adfinem, they're going to have to try something different in the rest of this series, Ben, because this game 1, the plan just did not work out.
Yeah, OG, they didn't have as strong lanes, but they by far had a stronger team fight. I think Adfinem realized that for the last half of the game. The only unfortunate part is they had no way to actually win after you avoid the fights and constantly stall out. But I think they had like maybe 20 unanswered kills at that point. I think the last kill that they got was the solo kill onto the OD by the puck. That just seemed like ages ago.
It really did. It just went downhill for Finem. But this is a team, you know, a team that they're not going to cry. They're not going to beat themselves up about it. They're going to be able to pick themselves back up. But OG, they've got to be feeling great after that game one. Perfect performance all around the board. Finem just didn't have, as you say, any way to answer that momentum that OG found with the amount of kills that they were getting, Ben. Game one, 32-9, OG dominating. Alex and the boys and girls on the panel, we'll be able to bring you in to hear what you have to say about that.
Sure.
But, I mean, obviously there's a lot of hype around Finem coming into this finals, and maybe people just forgetting how good of a team OG Dota can really be.
Yeah, I think OG have just kind of slapped us across the face and said, guys, you know, we are here too. It is easy to fall for the Finem story, but OG's story is almost alongside it. It's almost parallel to it, right, OD? I mean, these guys...
It is. These are the original kind of underdogs. You know, back at the Frankfurt Major, the first ever major when they stroked through. They've won 2 majors. This is potentially looking to be the team's third if they can pull this series off. And, of course, game one looking to be going in the right direction for them.
Yes, indeed. You've got plenty more casting, though, up your sleeve, so we'll be coming back to you in that second game. Finem do fall, and the OG story does begin for the grand finals. They pick up the first and best of 5. And I think we just have to run with that point for a moment, don't we? OG, yeah. It's a very swift reminder that actually they are doing something quite magical here as well. Ted, we'll start with you. This storyline of not only defending their title, of course, from the Manila Major, but also doing so with a severe change in the guard. Yeah, well, not only that, but I mean, they're facing against a team they haven't really played before. To the best of my knowledge, I don't know if they've ever played them before. So, you know, they just came out with this game plan of grouping up, having a great team fight, and get Jerax on Earth Spirit. And he was just godly, and it kind of set a load of stuff up for them. I mean, the dominance that they showed in this game was total, absolutely total. So very, very impressive from OG. And I honestly, Finem looked kind of broken at the end there. I think hopefully their morale isn't ruined. But I mean, this is one bad result. I don't think they need to panic too much, but maybe try something differently the next game.
Yeah, I think it's really hard to play versus OG. You picked a Drow Ranger, so you want to be able to group up. So even though they won the laning phase in kind of in a small fashion for Finem, you eventually want to be able to just group up and fight and take towers, just be able to do that. But versus OG's lineup, it's just actually impossible. Right. Big credit to No Tail's build as well. Like Ben Wu mentioned multiple times, he went for a build that doesn't really get crippled by the Shadow Demon illusions, so he goes for this Aghanims, Refresher build, Hurricane Pike. So the SD's illusions don't really do anything if he is able to get on top of Luna, and it also forces Drow Ranger to get a very early BKB because he can just throw the Eclipse in the back line, and yeah, it was just a really cool approach, and it just seemed to have taken Finem off guard a bit with their Drow Ranger lineup.
The Earth Spirit pickup was so good for OG. It basically stopped Thug from being able to get out of control on his puck, which we know he can do, and it controlled the team fights, it controlled the pace. At some point, OG was the one to dictate the pace of the game, while normally it's Finem to try to pressure. And they did try to pressure. We saw them making a rotation at 10 minutes. But in comes the Earth Spirit, and all of a sudden the fight is not going as well as it should have. And OG just takes control. And with Finem having a little bit of a timer on their draft, they just couldn't get it going. And then they're left with delaying the game. But for what, really? Yeah, they're picking, it's basically a single core Drow Ranger into that type of lineup, or into OG just in general. I think it's very scary to do that, even though you have such lane dominance. Some of the credit I saw hailed towards OG after their semi-final was that their playstyle, they were so good at playing defensively. Their defensive playstyle worked, and then we sit there and credit Finem for this almost looking like they're overextending very aggressive playstyle. Are these two playstyles clashing now, Fogged? When they meet, it does seem perhaps it could be the Greeks' kryptonite? Yeah, I do think so. I mean, it's really tough to play versus OG when you're, like I kind of said it, like the Drow Rangers. To be offensive. Yeah, being offensive like this, but also with the draft that they put themselves in, they last picked this Weaver, which doesn't really give them any more team fight. They had like Puck, that's pretty much their entire team fight, because Skylark at one point was so shut down that he was almost a non-factor. You just hook in and die. I also think that Jerax, obviously, he played brilliantly. Yes. But his hero as well. If you're a Puck or a Weaver, getting silenced is like the worst thing, because your entire escape, everything you want to do relies on being able to cast spells, and if you can't do that, they have the damage with the OD, and also then the Legion Duel to just shut you down, and that happens so many times. I mean, Jerax just owned this game for them. Very convincing stuff from Jerax, and I mean, his story, we got to take a quick look at it before in the previous day. His spotlight, there's no doubt that his parents are watching with big smiles on their faces.
He
I mean, it's
predicted that
Yeah,
movement
just
instantly.
crazy reactions and crazy speed. It's just so good. And this is like one of his favorite heroes. So yeah, that's the face. Oh
Yeah.
damn. Yeah.
That was very unfortunate for Finem. OG though, I mean, they look strong. We saw them this morning against Evil Geniuses. We credit them for being able to basically hold everything off until the 30-minute mark when they were ready to fight.
Yeah.
And they do about the same thing here. It's not really unexpected that they're able to do this. Maybe the draft makes it a little bit more unexpected, but even that is fairly straightforward for them. It felt like they were just able to just thrive off of the Earth Spirit as well as just the laning stage. Even if it doesn't go well, they're able to just do well from that mid game onwards because they have such control over the game. They have the defensive support to back it up if they need to take a step back, and they can go aggressive whenever they feel like they are ready for it.
I mean, Skylark and MNT have been such a driving force in this team in the early stages, and then into the mid game they look really good, but in this game they just couldn't get anything going. I mean,